to the tiger! Strike Rider cruise! Let's ride! Full throttle!
Because nothing quite says animal spirits of the jungle quite like extreme sports or motorcycles. Welcome, my friends, to Power Rangers Jungle Fury. I probably need to cut Overdrive a little slack from last time for a few issues, though in particular its attempts at the globetrotting aspect of the show. Apparently, according to Jackie Marchand, longtime writer and producer for the show, they had pitched the show to Disney as Indiana Jones-esque, which Disney liked. And were then given a minuscule budget by Disney and told to just use more stock footage. Disney was apparently frequently a problem while the series was under their control, budget being the big issue. Evidently, some seasons adhered more to the Sentai plots than the more original stuff they wanted to do, simply because they couldn't afford to do it otherwise. One Disney executive apparently told them at one point to just dub the whole show. Amusingly, considering what happened later under the Neo Saban era, it's kind of curious why that didn't end up just being the mandate. Anyway, the point is that clearly there were people on the show who cared about it, wanted it to be good, and were ambitious, but that many aspects were stifled by a limited budget. However, while that is a shame, it still doesn't fix a lot of the overall problems for writing and technical issues. Callous explosions, the Rangers themselves being frustratingly unlikable or annoying, the lack of complex villains, the pacing, etc. Jungle Fury, as I've mentioned before, is a series I entered into with very few preconceptions. I knew a little about it since I needed to look through footage of it here and there to get clips for the opening theme of History of Power Rangers. However, the actual details of the series were unknown to me and I didn't see very many people talking about it. That can mean any number of things, but the really good thing about it is that it allows me to view it without worrying about major spoilers accidentally revealed to me and without ever having really viewed it like I did with Overdrive. And frankly, Overdrive is such a low point for me in the show that it can only go up from there. The only way the series could get worse was if every character in Jungle Fury was replaced with Dax. However, in researching the season, I'm also aware that the show was hurt a bit due to the 2007 to 2008 Writers Guild strike, which some of the writers, including the aforementioned Jackie Marchand, participated in. That means a good chunk of the middle of the series was written by a different writing team altogether. Or was it? I've also heard that many of the writers posed as scab writers while still working on it, though I honestly couldn't say for certain since the writing didn't feel all that off during the episodes made during the strike. But what about the writing? Will it improve greatly on what I felt were the deficiencies of Overdrive? Well, let's take a look. Our season begins with the two-parter, Welcome to the Jungle.
Welcome to the jungle! We got fun and games!
Actually, when it comes to music, we're off to a good start with the theme song. I mean, it's gonna be uphill after Overdrive's theme, but Leigh Roberts and John Ehrlich did a great job giving us a song that sounded like an old-school Power Rangers theme, but unique and epic in its own way, with the jungle xylophone build up at the beginning before going right into the guitars. Oh yeah, and the titles thing. Bruce Kalish is still executive producer, so his naming quirk I mentioned last time persists. This time with every episode having 4 words in it. I admit, I always prefer longer episode titles in shows to help give them a cooler or more poetic value to them, but again, it's really not necessary to have this when you put in restrictions like this.
We are the vision in your dreams. We do not exist, yet we have been here since the beginning. We are Pai Shui, the Order of the Claw.
Ah, worshippers of that awful B-movie about a bird as big as a battleship. Actually, it's a secret martial arts training facility, rather like the Wind Ninja Academy. Even those being trained don't really know the true purpose of the whole thing. It's here where we first meet Theo and Lily, two of our new rangers. They've been sitting here meditating since last night.
You're not meditating, you're napping. I know the difference.
However, their teacher arrives to inform them that these 6 are the finest warriors they have, but they only need 3, leading to a competition to narrow it down. Naturally, Theo and Lily win their duels with the power of CGI effects instead of the impressive martial arts they'd been doing a second ago. The third, Jared, defeats his opponent with a CGI lion, though something seems to be up with him because of how he grins when he unleashes the animal. They're invited to the Great Hall that evening. We soon see that Jared is a prick.
Where's my towel? Cub, go get me a towel. Move it! That's a direct order from a senior student. Ah, here's a towel.
I don't want any problems.
Too bad.
How dare you bring me a towel when I demanded one, stupid slifer slacker! This younger student, Casey, unleashes some CGI of his own that knocks Jared back, impressing their headmaster.
Why do you always have to know what's going on? You have control issues.
You were the one complaining earlier about not knowing what you were doing. The headmaster leads them, minus Jared, down to the Forbidden Room, and explains that Jared has been dismissed because, well, he's a prick. Not sure why it took them so long to recognize that. He doesn't come across as the kind of guy who keeps that a secret. The headmaster, Mao, says that Casey has the potential of becoming a Tiger Master and will be taking Jared's place. We then get our exposition.
Listen closely. Over 10,000 years ago, there was a great evil
Yeah, her name was Rita. Don't worry, she's been dealt with.
named Dai Shi.
Oh. Why is it always that great evils just get locked away until a very specific span of 20 years? This keeps happening! Rita, Malagor, Banshira, Master Org, Lothor, the Master, Moltor and Flurious, Master Xandred in a few seasons. I'm just saying, the forces of good have this nasty problem of shoving evil inside of a box, writing "do not open" on it, and then expecting that to be the end of it. Maybe they should have spent more time figuring out how to defeat their opponents instead of building ancient ninja electric guitars. Anyway, here's Dai Shi's deal.
He believed that animals should rule the planet, and humans were to be erased. Brave warriors channeled their animal spirits, and after a great battle, they were able to capture the Dai Shi. Inside this box.
Oh, why the hell did you tell them that? It's like handing them a big red button that you say not to push. Someone's gonna open it! Shouldn't that be in a safe or something as an added layer of security? The Pai Schwartz was forged to ensure that the evil would never escape by teaching them kung fu. Casey is a little taken aback by the responsibility involved in such a task, but Jared suddenly storms in, pissed off about being kicked out after 10 years.
You just can't kick me out for no reason.
Agreed, but I have a reason.
You know, I instantly liked Mao as soon as I saw him, and I think I figured out why. He looks exactly like Shadis from Attack on Titan.
Why can't you be more like that majestic stallion John over there?
Mao orders Jared to leave, but he's a sore loser and unleashes his CGI on Mao, once again proving the power of glowy animals over wire fu. And because of this, Mao drops the box and Dai Shi is freed.
My old friend. I have thought about no one else for centuries. But before I destroy you will be a witness to my destruction of those dear to you.
You sound like a majestic fucking eagle!
Dai Shi decides to torment Mao by killing the students, Jared making a hasty retreat, but Mao tries to intervene, forcing Dai Shi to smack him around some more. With Mao defeated, the three are no longer worth his time and he leaves the Forbidden Room. Mao's not doing too hot after this.
My time in this form is ended. Shed no tears. There are important things to do. The evil that is Daishi will return to where he was captured. You must destroy him. Go to this address in Ocean Bluff. There you'll meet your new master.
We don't want a new master.
Remember the first rule I told you. Don't be attached to the master, but to the lesson.
Casey once more says they've got the wrong guy with him, but Mao says they're the world's only chance before he becomes one with the Force or something. While Jared flees, having had the time to change clothes and pack, Daishi goes all Evil Dead on him and attacks him in the woods. The three trainees find that the address given to them is to a pizza parlor in the nearby city of Ocean Bluff. In a quick bit of racist assumptions, the three assume a nearby Asian guy is their new master, but he has no idea what the hell they're talking about. They meet RJ, the owner of the place, with dough on his head. Theo wants to bail, but the others are hungry anyway, so decide to stay. Daishi returns to a temple where he was first captured and performs a ritual to summon his foot soldiers, the Rinshi. He transforms one of them into a mantis, an upgraded form, and summons a general from the wall, Camille.
Daishi, what a magnificent new look you have.
And hey, she's got the bondage gear already. After the three students finish their pizzas, RJ suggests that if they're looking for their master, they should work at the pizza place until he shows up. Lily thinks it's a good idea since they have to live in the real world now and will need money, making me wonder why the hell they haven't informed anyone else at the school what's happened. Or how they even got inducted into this school. What was the sales pitch to the parents? Come stay at our school for over a decade learning Kung Fu, someday even summoning CGI animals to attack your teachers and help unleash evil. Hearing a disturbance outside, they run off to find the Rinshi bouncing up and down like Chinese vampires, which I'm guessing they're actually supposed to be given their looks. So we have a member of PETA as our main villain using Chinese vampires as his foot soldiers. Well, of course. Casey is reluctant to go, but Theo says that if he's going to be a member of the team, he should come along. They confront the Rinshi, but true to tradition at this point, are eventually overwhelmed by superior numbers. The mantis transforms into a more monstrous form just to kick their asses some more. However, before it can finish them off, RJ intervenes.
I think it's time for your first lesson. Can't judge a book by its cover.
Of course, it all makes sense! Evil pizzas may not be a match for a simple stoplight, but we can harness the power of pizza for good! RJ easily handles the Rinshi and then uses his CGI blasts against the mantis, reverting it back to its red-cloaked form. Naturally, Daishi is pissed about his failure, ordering him and Camille to go and do it better this time. Camille even takes on a more monstrous form herself. Our heroes return to the pizza parlor and meet Fran, a hyperactive customer who sometimes helps out RJ.
I love pizza. All the toppings and the smell and the taste. I like spaghetti as well, you know, the sauce and the meatballs and the...
Breathe, Fran.
Aw, the poor girl's going through her first fetish. After sending her away, RJ brings them to a large back room that contains training equipment, a basketball hoop, and a jukebox.
Everything is yours. Except that chair. My chair. It's mine. It's off limits. Got it?
Got it.
If I didn't know any better, with the spinning fan and insistence that that chair is only his, I'd think RJ was actually Lord Zed. He then hands them new uniforms and shows them his version of the viewing globe, several TVs and a network around the city letting him monitor activity. On them, they see the Rinshi attacking again. The three want to head out, but RJ says he's not really much for fighting evil and needs to run his pizza parlor. Our mentor, everyone! I miss Mao.
All right, Aryan Coconut. What's your story?
Anyway, he realizes they were overpowered in the last fight and gives them an edge.
I got a gift for you to even out the odds.
Sunglasses?
They're not just sunglasses. They're solar morphers. Do you ever hear of the Power Rangers?
Yeah, who hasn't?
Several previous teams, surprisingly enough.
Power Rangers aren't part of the Order of the Claw, but I figured we needed everything we could get to fight the Daishi.
Initially, I thought he didn't build the morphers himself, but later we learn RJ is actually technically proficient.
So I knew this guy who knew this other guy who had an uncle who had a connection. Anyway, he tapped into the morphing grid and voila.
Maybe connections to Hartford? After all, we saw he had access to the morphing grid and that he could create new Rangers. Although that seems unlikely given that these are morphers unlike any other we've had before. Which brings up something that I have heard people complain about with this season, the sunglasses thing. The original Sentai did not use sunglasses. It was purely an American invention. Some people are upset by this because the original morphers were fine and it seems like the show was trying too hard to be cool by making them sunglasses. Me personally, I'm all for it. As we continue through the series, one thing that you appreciate about these seasons before the Neo Saban era is that they're willing to invent their own things, try original ideas unique to Power Rangers instead of just copying the Sentai note for note, whether it makes sense to or not. But that's a discussion for another day. Instead, I just appreciate that they're much more inconspicuous than other morphers and that they're not just yet another cell phone morpher.
Once you activate them, all the knowledge that comes with them will be instantaneously entered into your cellular makeup.
What is it with mentors wanting to screw with the DNA of their Rangers? Anyway, with morphers now in hand, the three run off to confront Camille and the Rinchi.
I don't know about you two, but I think it's time to show them what we got.
Power Rangers! Ready! Jungle Beast! Spirit Unleashed! Power Rangers, Jungle Fury! We're fast and strong, let's go! Here comes the Power Rangers!
Speed of a cheetah! Jungle Fury! Yellow Ranger!
With the stealth of a jaguar! Jungle Fury Blue Ranger!
Badass. I love the little kata while they morph to build on the kung fu stuff, and the morphing sequence builds on the animal spirit idea, though no idea where they got the name Jungle Fury from. Or did RJ program that into the morphers? Anyway, Casey's turn.
Spirit Unleashed!
Oh. Whoops. Well, while Casey stews in his failure, let's talk about the Jungle Fury outfits. I like them. The lack of a belt is weird at first, but it honestly fits with the general martial arts and animal motif the season is going for. Hell, we can build on that with the fact that RJ has cobbled together these morphers and powers. Either they're incomplete, or he designed them to aesthetically match the fighting they would have to do anyway without the restraint of the belt. That being said, Theo's is slightly more irksome to me. There's something about the black patterns along the side, something about the trapezoidal shapes make it seem more like a tracksuit, or at least more artificial than the others. And yes, I know that's an odd statement regarding outfits that are indeed, well, artificial. It's just that it doesn't flow as well as the others. One other thing that is kind of iffy is the neck. The only other white on the outfit is the outline of the patterns. It should have been black or their respective colors to better match up with it. As we enter part 2, Casey is finally able to morph when he spots Fran being menaced by the monster. He does pretty well too, kicking its ass pretty effectively. At first it looks like he destroys it, but the monster survives and proclaims that it's gathering people's fear, something they had been doing earlier, and uses the energy from that fear to make itself grow. Before it can stomp on the Rangers, an orange spirit appears and tackles the monster. It's Master Mao, who teleports them after the monster is blown away.
Well, sweet Pacific rim job.
Man, Force Ghosts and Power Rangers can kick serious ass.
Master Mao, I thought you were gone forever.
Spirit of a Pai Schwa can never be destroyed.
Oh, so maybe that's the deal with the Sentinel Knight. He was a Pai Shimmy or whatever. Mao also explains that the monster was able to grow because it mastered a level of battle technique, and that they'll have to master it themselves if they want to fight Daishi. RJ tells the Rangers they're not ready for the grow really huge technique yet. He also hands them their personal weapons. Theo gets Tonfas, Lily a bow staff, and Casey nunchaku. Unfortunately, while the others have had all their weapons training, Casey is still a newbie. RJ refuses to teach them more unless they're all on the same level.
Just because Casey's a cub doesn't mean we should be held back in our training. It's not fair.
Hello? I'm standing right here.
I don't mean to sound harsh, but that's just the way it is.
Theo's got a good point. The threat before them is immediate. Daishi is not going to sit on his ass and wait for Casey to get up to speed. It may not be fair, but it's a pragmatism standpoint. Casey isn't ready and is not going to be ready for a while. You need to focus on the here and now while getting him prepared. However, RJ argues it's a matter of teamwork. They need to all be together if they're going to succeed, using a metaphor of a stool with 3 legs. One leg is removed and the whole thing falls over. Later, the three are working in the restaurant, and Theo sees Casey effortlessly tossing pizza dough. He's irritated that he seems so good at this, yet has had trouble with his weapons. Lily gives him a light reminder that he used to suck too, and he needed Master Mao to teach him how to properly use his weapons.
Look at you, Jagger! You're all loose and tight at the same time.
As Theo takes Casey back to train, RJ hires Fran on board. And hey, I'm sure this training will go well. Actually, it does go pretty well. In a short amount of time, Casey has excelled with the weapons and even combines his tiger animal spirit with it to blow up some rocks. Unfortunately, that's all interrupted when the monster returns and breaches a dam, planning to flood Ocean Bluff.
Watch out!
Camille confronts the Rangers to stop them from attacking the monster, revealing that she's a chameleon and able to alter her appearance at will. The Rangers morph and fight the Rinchi, revealing their individual weapons. Like the Zords, I don't usually talk about them that much because they start to blend into each other after a while, especially when they repeat certain patterns and motifs over and over, but this season is rather cool in that they're actually using stylized martial arts weapons, the aforementioned tonfas, bow staff, and nunchaku. It's always appreciated when they do something different instead of just sword, axe, and portable fan. RJ contacts them and lets them know that they do know the growth technique, they just don't realize they do, reminding them of their team. This leads to them jumping to the conclusion that Lily is the heart of the team, Theo the brains, and Casey the strength. By summoning their animal spirits and combining them, they're able to form the Jungle Pride Megazord. And this one actually is meant to be an extension of themselves, so it's piloted G-Gundam style, with them making martial arts movements inside of it instead of having a control console. And then Camille regurgitates an annoying fly thing named Flit that provides unnecessary commentary on the battle. Because Power Rangers.
And the fight is on! The Jungle Pride is tough, but we've got one mad mentor! Oh! That's gonna leave a mark!
Anyway, the monster is destroyed, and Daishi turns around to reveal that he's possessed Jared! Dun dun dun! We already knew that. Why did you try to make that a twist when we already saw him become possessed? Anyway, Welcome to the Jungle is average. It's not bad at all. The three Rangers are likable in their own right, and none of them are annoying or grate on you. RJ is a very charming, different sort of mentor than we've had before, acting simultaneously like a surfer dude while also actually having wisdom and skill. It's actually rather refreshing after having so many serious mentors for so long to just have one who seems to be at a natural peace with his surroundings. The story comes across very similar to the beginning of Ninja Storm, martial arts students having to deal with a returning evil. Unlike that opener though, this one has more plot holes. What happened to all the other Pow Bazinga students and teachers at the academy? I mean, sure, RJ isn't going to have more than the three morphers, but you can imagine the other students and teachers would be extremely helpful against Daishi regardless. How come Fran doesn't realize Casey is a Power Ranger when she was right in front of him when he morphed? For that matter, why not include her in all this stuff? She admits herself she has little social life and can probably be more helpful in general, and she's not likely to blab about it to people. Also, is the city still flooded? The dam did burst. They never fixed that. The Rangers themselves also suffer a bit of informed attributes. We're told about parts of their personalities instead of letting them develop naturally for us. However, overall, it's a very enjoyable 2 episodes and a good start. In the next episode, we see how they leave the command dojo. Much like how the Space Rangers left the Astro megaship in a tube, the three leap Tarzan style into a big hole in the wall. Later, the Rangers are forced to recruit help from another Pang Zang master, Master Fant, who provides them with a new weapon, a chain mace. And a new Zord, the Elephant, which becomes an armor and giant mace for them. It's been kind of a thing since Wild Force. The Zords have less and less been about creating new Megazords as opposed to being enhancements and new weapon upgrades for the main Megazord. It's one of the reasons why the Megazords have begun to blur together. Instead of having their own unique personalities to them, they're just there for toy accessories. Not that they weren't an advertisement for toys already, but you get what I mean. Like Overdrive, Jungle Fury has a bit of a serial nature to it, but it's handled better in later episodes. In the beginning, it's smaller. We've got something like 5 monsters being summoned by Camille to fight the Rangers, and instead of taking them on all together, even though they can clearly defeat them together, each one is dispatched per episode. Then the last monster has life talons that can be used to resurrect the dead, which Daishi uses to summon 3 overlords, and you get the idea. But the fact that episodes do have consequences from one to the next is greatly appreciated and has a larger impact on the overall narrative, what's motivating the characters, and what their decisions will be. I mentioned the overlords thing. So Daishi has his own code of honor, of sorts. He respects power above all else, so when the Sky Overlord proves to be superior in strength, he pledges his fealty to him. The Sky Overlord, Carnosaur, says that it's his human side that's holding him back. As such, he takes us on a little tour of his past to learn more about him. The Overlord either alters time or alters his memories, making him a cheat at school as a kid, making him fail to help a family who had cared for him in turn, and also revealing to us that his own parents were not around that often. Mind you, while an interesting concept, it's not really that sophisticated.
You didn't fight back. You knew Kung Fu. You could have easily defeated those bullies, yet you turned the other cheek. Why?
We had a code. Never use your fighting skills against inferior opponents. I wanted to live by that code.
Ugh. But you didn't, did you? You're breaking the code now, aren't you? Break the code here, as a boy. Reach the pinnacle of evil.
The pinnacle of evil is using his superior fighting techniques to kick the asses of some bullies. Power Rangers, please don't preach a message of nonviolent self-defense when literally the entire show revolves around fighting evil by punching and shooting it. Their next new Zord and weapon comes from Master Swoop, a blind fighter who provides Theo with the Bat Zord and a war fan. As Daishi is continually trained by the Sky Overlord, aka getting his ass kicked and told to like it, Camille continually gets pushed aside when she shows concern for him. Upon the friendly advice of Lily while in disguise, Camille takes matters into her own hands and summons the Sea Overlord, Jellica, to try to challenge Sky Dude. Unfortunately, she doesn't figure that she's kind of a jerk in her own right, forcing Camille to become her student and letting Sky Guy keep his place. She forces a confrontation with the Rangers, but when Jellica orders her to kill Lily, she can't bring herself to do it. Jellica tries to destroy Camille for her refusal, but Daishi steps in to defend her, demonstrating his own power to her, and demands to be her student.
That's more like it.
Now you have to be his master.
Of course, girl, as I have planned all along.
What?
You're all just pawns in my little game. I didn't want you to ask to be my student. I wanted you to demand it.
Then you never wanted to be my master?
You are strong, girl. But with my help, this one has the potential to reach the highest levels of evil. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, Master.